afternoon, Jehovah's Witnesses. How may I direct your call?
Can I speak to your legal department?
One moment, please.
Hello, brothers. Thanks for holding there. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, yet not okay. I'm power of attorney for my 90-year-old mother and my 72-year-old brother. Okay.
Okay, brother. Hold on, brother. Hold on. You talked to the legal desk here. Can we start with the congregation number, please?
I don't know the number of their congregation. It's Forest Park in Wisconsin.
Okay. So you're speaking to the legal department here for the congregation. What's the congregation matter you're involved with, brother?
The matter is that I'm legally responsible for my mother and my brother. They both have dementia. My mother gets amnesia from strokes, especially under stress. She was in the hospital once and her memories didn't come back for 12 hours. And that's just, she forgot that my brother living with her was getting a divorce. And my brother, I just represented him in court on Friday. And they recognized my POA for the fact that when he goes into seizures, he has amnesia during the seizure and he doesn't remember what happened. And considering that the last time, 2 years ago, two elders came over and put my mom on a spot, I did the kindness to leave the house so they could give her spiritual food. And what she does is she goes into a seizure when I get back there because they were throwing her an ultimatum. You know, now this is a legal matter. Since
for what?
I'm power of attorney for their mental state.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, brother. The elders in the congregation where your mother attends, you said they put her in
They gave her an ultimatum. They gave her an ultimatum that I can't be around. And what happened is that on Sunday, just yesterday, my mother called me up because she doesn't know how to run my computer in order to do your Zoom meetings. And apparently they didn't like seeing me sitting in the background.
That's what you were told, or that's what she told you?
That is what they called her up and they're meeting her at 3:00 today.
So the elders told her that they don't want to see you in the background.
It was of that jest, not those exact words. Just in order for me to set up my computer so it works, I actually hooked up her phone so she could learn how to use it and just be her face on the thing. My brother was sitting back. You couldn't even see him. So what good did it do? He doesn't know too much either. He couldn't handle the smartphone my ma gave him, and he went and bought a flip phone. But the thing is that during their meeting, they could have blocked out the main computer camera, and they could have only shown her on her phone, although it was her profile because she kept looking at the TV screen to see your congregation. However, I did move the phone so it would be in front of her. But the point is there's an issue here. And if they come over and I'm going over there at 3. I haven't been invited. Okay. But if they put either one of them in a state of seizure, then you're going to have a problem on your hands.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand what are you telling us here, Mr. You going over where?
I'm going over to my mother's house. I don't live with her.
Oh, okay.
My brother was attacked by his wife who hates witnesses. I'll give you background, okay? 50 years ago, my brother went into the army while baptized. They could have disfellowshipped him for smoking or for having a baby before he got married, all that other stuff. They held it at going into the army. They didn't shun him. They talked to him at the auto factory. They'd go over to his house to get their car fixed, which is not a business. Okay. When one of your elders went back to him to have a study with him 2 years ago, he didn't go back to the hall asking reinstatement. They went to him, asked him for a study. I haven't been asked for a study in 30 years. In fact, growing up in the congregation, no one ever had a study with me, but one, a pioneer who wanted to get his WatchTower study done for Sundays. The thing is, okay, my brother's been out 40, 45 years, comes back. His wife decides she's going to go to a church in retaliation. Okay. She wanted the house a year and a half ago, so she jumped him and clawed him. And he was bleeding, and the cops took it as self-defense and took him for 6 days, handcuffed and arrested, 3 days in the hospital, 3 days in the jail, let him out on the street barefoot in socks. He had a seizure on the floor, and they woke him up and took him to a nurse and said, "You're fine. You're in better health than we are." Okay? He's got a divorce. He's with my mom now. His house is sold. He had witnesses come and empty out his garage for him. Okay? The point is that he's not mentally competent. It's signed. It's agreed. The court said so. They set him free on just an anger management class. They tried to entrap him and have drop the plea bargain by they had a hearing the week before the last course, but we got ahead of them, and I was smart enough to have them do 2 courses in 1 week and drop the papers off at the court, so that when the phone call came, because they're not doing anything in court, they're calling up because of the virus, he was cleared. The guy tried to refute it, and the judge says, no, he's got all the papers here, and my brother was freed as of Friday, 2 days ago. My mom calls me up. She can't figure out the computer still to get on Zoom. I try and help because they get a glimpse of me. They want to do something about it.
They referring to who?
Congregation persons on Zoom that want the elders to visit her today. 2 of them.
Okay. And have you had a chance? I'm sorry, sir. Have you had a chance to speak to those elders?
I have no idea their names or their phone numbers. There's no meetings going on right now.
Okay. Now, because you have a power of attorney, you have all the right to be with your mother.
Well,
I would appreciate. They're going to go to your mom's home today, correct?
Yes, I would appreciate. I know that one's called Joe Culperton, or it's Forest Park Congregation in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm being fully open with you.
So, Mister, you said they're going to be there at your mom's
at 3:00 Central Time.
Good. That's fine, and you're going to be there too because you have the legal obligation to be there too with both your mother and your brother.
But who do I tell them that they have authority over them? They have higher authority. Who do I refer to?
No, they don't have higher authority.
No. I don't mean that. Miss, it's
just to correct you there.
I mean,
you have the power of attorney, and the only reason
they have their higher authorities over them. So, in order for them to know that this is not my fabrication of whatever I feel like doing, who do I refer them to? Do I say call the legal department? Do I say
No, you can let them know. If you have any questions, they can call the branch. If you say there are elders visiting your mom and your brother, they know the procedure. And again, perhaps there's a misunderstanding. Most likely there's a misunderstanding. The only authority they have is just the theocratic authority. That's all they have. They don't have, any other than that.
Well, all I can do is assume that 2 years ago she had been threatened. Because I walked in the back door. I went out to lunch so they could encourage her. And when I came back, she stood up. She was trembling. She was almost falling over and saying, "You can't come around anymore because Jehovah will desert me."
And that's based on what the elders told your mother?
Whatever they told her. They convinced her Jehovah is going to desert her because her son is taking care of her. Yeah, I'm going to tell you another thing, okay? I have a sister who has a 45-year-old daughter, but when that daughter was 13 years old, she had a friend that called my mom, and I happened to be there that day. My mom put it on the speakerphone, and my mom, this is a sister they've studied with 4 times, and she's going to the meetings, and I'm sure she's on your Zoom. And her friend said, I threw her out because she was having sex with my 15-year-old. And then she said about me, she says, and she's got a lot of guts to knock your son Rick, which I'm Rick, that's me, because she said by taking them to Six Flags Park with a group in that, he's probably a homosexual and has eyes on the 4 boys. That's what my sister said. And that's what the woman said. And my mother, just because the woman's not a Jehovah's Witness, believed that, isn't this funny? This woman's making up all kinds of lies. Okay. I also have a brother who, after he pioneered, went up north, and he has been with a sugar daddy for 50 years. I'm the youngest. He has yet to be disfellowshipped or reproved or anything. In fact, he went to the funeral of my dad while they told my dad died 3 years ago. They told my ma that none of the pioneers could go to the meal because I'm there to eat a meal for my dad's death. Yet my brother dared, against my mother's wishes, to come to the funeral and bring his homosexual lover. And then I said to a couple witnesses, I made crack, and you're talking about 50 years, and they say, oh, you think your brother's a homosexual? I had elders back then wanting me to out him, not even baptized. And when I say, look, there's issues in our family, it's dysfunctional, they wanted me to be the testimony. Oh, yes, I think my brother's this. This is very heavy, man. It's very heavy.
Mr. Rigg, what I suggest for you, because you're going to be there, just to clear the matters with those elders and verify with them. Let them know your concerns. You have concerns, brother so-and-so and brother so-and-so, that you say is going to be 2 elders, or I don't know how many elders, but my concern is that every time you come here, my mother has a stroke, a problem. I don't want my mother, so please just be mindful of that. And just set the matter straight with them.
I'm not saying my mom don't like stress, so I'll admit it's not like I haven't put her in a stroke, but at least I'm able to see what I'm able to calm down, calm my brother down, or it's worked out. It's all understood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mom's a very hyped Italian woman.
If you have 2 individuals that get stressed out, if you and those 2 elders are able to keep their situation calmed,
well, I should probably talk to them outside.
Calmly speak. Yes, you can actually the real calm situation.
Well,
but you have all the right as a son, first of all, as a son, and also because of the legal right you have. Let them know that you're concerned of the health of both your mother and your brothers. And elders, I don't know what's going on here, but I noticed that last time you left, they had a stroke. I wonder what is it that's being said here. Perhaps we can avoid that. And there should be no problem for you to be there at home with them while they're there visiting.
I mean, my mom said the other day, she said, when the court case ended, she says, I feel peace now, like I can die because I don't have to worry about Jim and that woman that, the bad woman he married, So, but
But
even
sometimes,
that's scary. That's like saying she'd like to die now.
no, but perhaps just want to just have clear that misunderstanding. Unless you speak to the person who you believe it did wrong here and clear that matters with that person, that's the only way we can figure these things out here. You believe that it's because of the elders that they don't want you there. You believe that you're not supposed to be in the background. Were you doing something? I mean, inappropriate in the background?
No.
Maybe just a comment that was made. No people in the background.
No, I'll verify.
Personal.
Okay.
So it's better to verify and clear the matter straight before getting upset over something that perhaps not even true.
Well, I know it's true, but it's from elders 30 years ago saying whatever they said.
Well, 30 years ago. That's 30 years ago, sir.
1987.
Here, yes. Now it's April 2000. Tomorrow's going to be the memorial of Jesus Christ. Everybody's going to be connected through Zoom. You have to help your mother connect to Zoom because she doesn't want to miss that meeting.
Well, my mom, she said on the phone to me yesterday, she says, I told them that you've never missed any memorial. I said, well, Ma, that's not true because our dear brother who wanted to go skiing in Colorado, when I wanted to seek out a Kingdom Hall and go to the memorial, it was so important that he and the nephews go to the bar and drink, So what did I do? In solitude, I opened up my Bible and I read it to myself while I sat there in the chateau or whatever those rental places are called. But, there's.
But today you can clear those matters, just the misunderstanding with those elders if they're going to be there at 3:00, and on your part you'll do as an obligation as a son. Your mother does not want to miss the memorial, and most likely you're not going to miss it either with her. I just keep that in mind. But
they suggested I go watch the video. They suggested to her that I go watch the video on the jw.org, which I've already done. It's not the proper day, but I'm always biblically,
Yes.
I don't know why I crave it. I just crave.
Perhaps got a better talk there. You got a better talk. That talk has come from the branch.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're not connected with that local brother giving a talk. It's fine, but you heard it. I'm sure you opened the Bible scriptures, and you understand the meaning of that. It's not just a special one-time occasion. There's a meaning behind that. But your mother depends on you helping her tomorrow for that meeting. The elders need to understand that, and perhaps they do. It's just a misunderstanding there somewhere between there. There's a miscommunication there, and today that can be clear with them. And if they understand, they should understand you're the son, first of all, and perhaps they don't know what else is going on. Can I don't know the whole history of what's going on between the
Can I ask you a personal theocratic of I don't know if I'm not asking for doctrine or for you to speak for the WatchTower or whatever, but this is a personal thought in my head that I would say to Jehovah himself. Do you ever think that with the spirit of Jehovah or the spirit of Satan, that they push people back and forth so that there are times that Satan can push into a person not against their will, but they simply think it's their own emotion and they come out real nasty and it's not like them, but you'd swear like some person jumped into them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, does Jehovah allow this to happen? Yes. Does he allow it? Yes.
It says Satan entered into Judas, and I see that so many Christians do not see that as Judas throwing a fit because he was insulted. My mom once had a tape called The Last Hours of Jesus. some Australian guy at a district assembly or whatever, and it was awesome. It really made you realize how people think as the week went along, you know. And I just I'm not. I agree that I'm partially a paranoid person, but you get paranoid when you are deliberately attacked. And
more this system of things will cause you to get more stressed out. You can't control what's around you, and very little we can control our emotions. But if you know you've been surrounded by witnesses for a long time already, Mr. Rigg.
My dad got really sick about 10 years ago. So there was a good 10 to 12 years that I actually had peace not being bothered. I can't say by witnesses because they never, in 1990, they said that they were going to have everybody called on and talk to them. No one has ever talked to me. No one at all. In fact, I've even had some very rude people come to my door, knock on the door. This happened twice. Oh, it's you. And they walked away, you know, and it was like, you knocked on my door. You got me up. You're the rudest person to have even done that, you know, but,
perhaps they're scared.
yeah, no,
There's something that they've seen in the past and they're scared and they don't want to see that again.
yeah.
Perhaps today, I don't know if it's the same body of elders 30 years ago. I don't know. I don't think it's the same elders.
Well, the one that, it was the same elder the time that she quivered and spazzed out. It was. And my mother said, you don't have to worry about him. He's in a...
Let him know your concerns. As a son, this is my concern, and the reason why, you know, I don't want to lose my mother. This is, I mean, I don't know how old is your mother, but every time she goes into this state, it's a risk you're taking as a son. They're losing this loved one. If they see that concern, most likely it's going to work out, Mr. Rick.
Okay, I won't. I won't argue with you. I just feel like I'm getting false hope because that's why I mentioned how people, you know, when I left that last time 2 years ago, it's probably 3 years by now. I said to Lombardi, I says, look, it's not a matter of not wanting to come back or not wanting to be, well, they claim they made an announcement, but I said, so I used the word reinstate. No, I didn't even use the word reinstate. I don't, because I don't even know what goes on there. I said, it's not a matter of coming back. It's a matter of this guy right here. And I was referring to Slater. I says, every time that I've ever seen him, it's been a lie about me, you know? So.
Slater? Who's
Slater, just Ken Slater. So my mom says he's been through a lot of hard times. All the people that I knew, and I don't mean kids my age, I mean kids 6 years younger than me. They're all grown up, married, divorced, whatever, and half of them didn't want the hall. I wonder why. Because I remember back then, I didn't associate with anyone because nobody wanted to, or they thought, oh, he likes music. That makes him worldly. And the thing is, it's come full circle. You know, while they act, certain families at the hall have bad kids or bad seed, their own kids don't want what they were supposed to raise them to be. You know?
Yep.
But
it's everywhere. There's
yeah.
You know, to be a Christian is not something you inherit. It's something you have to make your own. So,
I don't know.
Because they're associated with the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll be saved. Doesn't mean that. It depends on each individual person, what they're doing to continue upholding Jehovah's sovereignty.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I believe the Great Tribulation has started. So we'll find out after the churches go to Easter.
This bad situation to end soon. Hope you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm feeling.
Please try to clear those that misunderstanding misunderstanding what's going on. And please, on your end, if you have everything clear, help them understand that in a very patient and way. Not everybody understands what is power of attorney. What is that? We think everybody understands that. We don't. Not everybody does. Perhaps
Well,
understand
my ma,
what is what causes a seizure. We don't know what's that. Stress.
I have to tell you a bad experience I had. Okay. And I'll tell you that I've talked to my God Jehovah since I was 9 years old. I was left at a gas station, and they blamed me because they announced it on the radio that American Jehovah's Witnesses left their 9-year-old at a gas station in Canada for 2 hours. Didn't know where he was. Yeah. And so the Judicial Committee and his wife came back, and they picked me up, and they blamed it all on me, and they said little boys are going to be destroyed at Armageddon. And that's when I only had Jehovah to rely on from that day forward. And I'm going to say that it's certain emotions hit at certain times. I mean, I got to the point where if I raised my hand to make comments and answer, my heart would pound so hard that I couldn't hold my hand up because I was afraid of everybody. And only once I recall 50 years ago that, and they're still around, the couple, but I made a comment, everybody gasped. They looked at me like what I said was horrid. And then one sister to an elder, she turned around and, from 15 rows ahead of me, I could read her lips. She whispered, "I understood what you meant. I know what you meant." And see, that's the whole point. The point is that if someone doesn't want to hear right, boom, you would think it was Invasion of the Body Snatchers and they were all going to come and get you because you're not an alien like they are. And it's very hard to cope with. And I guess what I'm saying right now is I'm having trouble talking.
Mr. Rick, what you're saying right now is very similar to what is found in the account of 1 Samuel 1. Hannah, remember Hannah? She was praying to Jehovah.
Yes, I understand. She was accused of being drunk, and she held her respect and called him Lord. I understand that. But I also have...
Who was she called drunk?
Huh?
Remember who called her drunk? Who
High Priest Eli. But that could happen right now. The person who answered this phone, you could have called me drunk.
The high priest accused her of something that was not true.
Right.
I mean, somebody who was responsible for taking the lead.
Yeah, I know.
Someone that's supposed to help her.
I understand.
So this is something that to be expected. Why? Not everybody's perfect. Just because they have knowledge doesn't mean that they're perfect.
No, I understand, but I'm also I don't like the idea of mistakes and imperfection. I think sinners use those words. I'm
same thing. That's what sin is. It's every time we.
No, I mean people who have problems that need to be molded and changed, and it certainly seems like it's going to take more than 1,000 years. And
Jehovah can take care of that.
That's up to him.
Trust on that.
It's not my job.
It's just up to the person. It's up to the person to accept that discipline.
Yeah.
You and I, just like you and I, we both need some help. It just depends how much we allow Jehovah to mold us.
Well, excuse my language, but Jehovah is the potter, and it's for him to decide whether he's going to piss on you, not some elders. And they don't seem to realize that.
So now, when I was going this, it doesn't matter what privilege you have, what position you have in the organization. We're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we don't follow men. Our leader is not an individual, a person here.
I'm going to trust your advice. I'm going to trust that Jehovah's Spirit can travel from wherever you are in New York, Wallkill, or wherever, and over to here, because I couldn't think of anything to do but to call. And I really didn't want to call this other guy who's never been a witness, because he's older than me. And when I was little and we went to a book study, his mother dragged them to the book study because the one who was studying with her told her she had to. And the woman who does the Bible study, she actually crawled under the bed and dragged her son out. And who reported it to the dad, and she got fined by the police. But the thing is that her name's Lita Howlett, and she just died. And she's been in a nursing home for 4 years, and no witnesses have been able to see her because the son's Catholic, boasting he's got a monk son. And I went to see her, and I wanted to cry to Jehovah, because I said she didn't know anything. She didn't know who she was, or she knew nothing other than her son was a nice guy. And I took her for a walk around the lobby, and I found I could talk about Jehovah to her, and she loved it. She was so happy, smiled, made comments about Jehovah. I mentioned the words Kingdom Hall, and she went in a frenzy. Now, what did that to her? I don't think her son did it. And then this sister went to go visit her and turns to my mother and, oh, she's apostate. And I told my mother, Mom, Lita's no different. It's not Jehovah she's afraid of. And I told her what I said. I told her that I said, talk Jehovah with her, and everything was great. Mentioned Kingdom Hall, and she was in terror. And she was 93 then. And it's probably been 2 years. She probably died at 95 last year. But my mom's going to be 90 in October, and my brother's going to be 72 in 2 months. But I don't want to see this happen to old people. I'm aware of what people say on the internet. I'm aware of what's lies and what's not. And then you got someone that speaks up and says, oh yeah, they disfellowshipped my 90-year-old grandma. I'm so proud and happy for her. That's horrid. That's horrid.
Well, Mr. Rick, hopefully everything goes well at 3 o'clock with this meeting you have with these elders, even though they're not expecting you there. But hopefully it goes well. I'm guessing it's another hour from now?
It is 1 o'clock, so it's 2 hours from now.
2 hours? Okay.
So.
But please, may Jehovah's bless me with you there, and then his spirit there with this, just to clear matters straight with him, and just give him a misunderstanding and whatever's going on there. Continue helping your mother, your brother. That's your responsibility as a son and a family as a relative there.
Oh, can I want to make a comment about my sister who wants to do something about it. And I don't, that's why sometimes with paranoia, I think she's egging them on or whatever, trying to push them. When my mother had by the way, I didn't mention, the hospital liaison gave my mother blood. I was the only one that fought against her having blood. It was just in their stupidity that they did it. They were testing her, and I says, I said, they gave her post-surgery plasma is what they gave her. I asked the nurse with a bunch of witnesses standing around, I says, what is this bag that's on her? Because they had been stabbing her the day before saying we're trying to blood type her. I says, she don't need to be blood typed. She's a witness. She don't need a transfusion or blood. My ma, who was in post-surgery shock this third day, her eyes pop open. She says, no blood, no blood, no blood. I turned to the nurse and I says, don't rape my mother's conscience. The next day she was in another room and they have this bag on her. And the liaison is standing there with all the sisters talking to mom. And I pull the nurse aside. I says, what is in this bag? Oh, it's plasma so she don't dry out. I'm sorry, I was enraged. I said, Jehovah, take care of that guy. And he died within the year. Found out he had cancer. But
Yeah, so you think Lay's put the blood on that thing, even though it was not the
his
body,
negligence.
they're not doctors, they're just a body of elders.
His negligence. His first words when we got him to the hospital is, "You're supposed to call me first. This is my job. I'm supposed to do this." It was all about his pride and arrogance, that it was his position. What I did is I asked my dad, I said, "Where is mom's wallet?" Because I knew she had a blood card in it. He says, "Her purse and wallet are here at home." I says, "Well, then I got to get the blood card out of it." I got the blood card. I saw 2 signatures on it of 2 sisters. Those 2 sisters were over there in 5 minutes. You couldn't have asked for a better recruit. They got 2 brothers to sign it now, and I'll tell you, I was showing her, my mom doesn't want to go into a nursing home. She wants to die in her house. And I says, what does this mean that they can take over and make the decision? That means they can put you in a home, a nursing home? She made sure she scratched it out and initialed it.
Who is they? Who?
The signatures on the card of the blood card. Can they put her in a nursing home from a hospital? If she's in a hospital and she goes coma, can they put her in a nursing home? If she...
The card that he pays only for blood. It's only for blood. So there's nothing else.
Oh, I took a picture of it, so I don't know the exact words, but it's the way I read it. That's why I think the doctor probably read plasma expanders as being allowed plasma. You know? So, but I'm saying, see, this is a lot of stress. It's like, oh, we take care of her better than you do. You're her son, and it's easy when I've got a gay brother who isn't disfellowshipped and a sister who hides her immorality and lies about me. You know. So, anyways, I didn't mean to just lay all this heavy on you. I have a tendency to rant and ramble because I come from my mother's Italian family. So
don't worry, but just before speaking to these elders, just ask for a calm spirit and convey your thoughts in order, and hopefully we can clear that misunderstanding there with those local elders as well.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I appreciate your spirit, your disposition, your attitude, your... Okay.
We're here to help each other out. We're in a tough situation here, all of us. We're in these last days, and we all need Jehovah's Spirit. So hopefully, you know, with that spirit, we can also convey our concerns to others that can help us.
I think you're a genuine brother. I don't think that this has anything to do with lawsuit or legality. I don't think it's... It sounds like it to me that you're sincere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our main concern is as long as we clear matters straight. That's the main thing. You clear matters straight with individuals, and you see how better things are once there's a clear understanding. Reasons why sometimes we don't understand what's going on, background information, and we draw conclusions. And once we understand everybody here involved, everything goes smoother.
I feel better. But it wasn't meant to just get things off my chest. It's just that I get our families that way. The more you talk about something, it becomes an emotional thing instead of a discussion. So I'm sorry for dumping.
Oh, don't apologize. Don't apologize, sir. We're here anytime. Please, also, just be confident you can speak to those elders. Do you need some? If you need to talk to them, I need to share my words with you. I have a word about my mom. Can you help me help her?
Okay.
And if it, I'm guarantee you it's going to work out. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, sir. Rick, right? Rick?
Yeah, Richard Schiller, as in Schiller Park, Illinois.
Okay.
So.
Thank you very much for your time, brother.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stop. How do you stop this? How do you stop this? How do you stop this? End strain. I want to save.